Welcome to IronAuthority.com's Berserker Strength Radio with your hosts, Brady Stewart and Josh Hunt. He'll bend space and time right over. Hello, Berserker Strength Radio listeners. This is Brady Stewart, United States World Bench Press team member and owner of IronAuthority.com.
This is Josh Hunt watching Brady gesticulate his hands in a very creepy way that looks like E.T. trying to heal Elliot.
If I had healing powers, it'd be awesome.
Would you heal yourself or benefit others?
I would heal myself first.
That is a very selfish thing.
I'm sorry, but who wouldn't? You wouldn't. You would. You would, wouldn't you?
I would heal my fatness.
You would heal? How could you heal fatness?
Just like make it into like a washboard stomach.
How do you heal fat though? Like is it damaged?
You touch it and say Elliot, and like all the pizzas that I ever had just disappeared.
Anyway, so okay, we gotta record 2 episodes in one night. So what is the date today? The 18th of January. So, you know,
being a real stickler about this.
Yeah,
I was trying to give you guys a scam. Just like, you don't need to tell them. I don't know why I talk like Charlie from freaking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but you don't need to tell them the original Kitten.
So, you know, we gotta talk about that because Josh is gonna be out on business.
Yes.
And stay the F out of it. But he's got to go out on business and we won't be able to record next week. So we're doing another one of these adventures, and I got it right.
Yeah, I just found out something the other day.
What'd you find out?
You know what they call a Mexican standoff in Mexico?
I have no clue.
A Jeff Snyder standoff. Yeah, I'm coming out of the gates hard.
Whoa, that's a great one.
I know. I thought about that like a while ago.
That man is a legend.
I heard he started the French Indian War.
I believe it.
Just with a look.
Wow.
And then he like receded back into the forest like Sasquatch. You know, when he called us.
Whoa. Sasquatch?
Yeah.
Talking about squatches now?
Squatches.
The old skunk ape? the old Yowie man? The grass man?
Okay, question. Who do you think would win in a fight? A Sasquatch?
Sasquatch.
No, wait. Hear me out. Sasquatch or 10 chupacabras?
10 chupacabras?
10 chupacabras.
I think a skunk ape would pwn the living S out of 10 chupacabras.
Really?
Yeah, just dominate.
I'm going with the chupacabras.
I don't think how.
Dude, they're the goat sucker.
Yeah, they don't suck.
But there's
Sasquatch.
10 of them. You can't take on one dog. Your 2 little dogs take you out every day.
Dude, we're talking about a squatch.
Yeah, we're talking about chupacabras here.
The most elusive creature on the planet.
They found more evidence of Sasquatch than chupacabras.
Yeah.
So that means they're not that elusive.
Well, they're elusive. You haven't found one yet.
Okay.
I hope humanity does not find a Sasquatch.
I think it's this whole thing you got with Chewbacca. So let's bring it back to your level.
Okay.
A Sasquatch or a Yeti? Fist fight.
Oh, dude.
1920s boxing rules.
It depends where they're doing the fighting.
Berlin, Germany.
Sasquatch.
Why?
Because it's flatland.
Okay, Nepal.
Then a Yeti. Because it's mountainous.
Okay, what about in a submarine in the Marianas Trench?
I'm gonna call that one a draw. Because they're both pretty damn cool.
Who do you think would look better in a hat?
A Yeti.
Okay, we should probably actually get on topic.
Anyway, yeah, that was kind of lame. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna do a little shout out here to Dana Rosenzweig for calling our podcast dope on his blog.
Do people still use that term?
You do if you're 55.
I've been trying to bring back radical.
Radical?
There's a guy I work with. I started calling him Cock of the Walk. And like,
what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said that back then. I'm like
CAULK of the walk or
like a rooster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like strutting around. I'm like, hey, Juan, what do you think? You're Cock of the Walk? You can walk around. His name's Juan.
Wow.
Yeah, you're looking at me like I made that up.
You know, I'm looking at you because you're the only other person in the room. Let's not fight.
Well, we have a cat that's cut like a lion.
Like a lion, yeah. That's
I'm cat sitting currently for a friend. So anyway, I think you can always put the kibosh on these, but we are going to get into this just great episode of powerlifting stuff. Managing stress, I think that's a good thing to talk about because we all have stresses other than work. Going into the gym, it really beats you up. I mean, we've all been just beat up.
So are we talking about external stress or stress that we put in our bodies during training?
I was thinking about the self-loathing stress I put on myself.
Elaborate.
I was just trying to be funny.
That's about it.
I'm pretty happy usually.
You're pretty
I'm pretty
guy.
Jovial. I just like to
Positive.
pretend that I'm cynical and
You
deep.
pretend that you're really angry all the time.
Sometimes I am though.
Really?
I hate hipsters
What
and
would you-
hippies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, hippies are shiftless.
What?
Hippies are shiftless.
Explain. I don't know that
They
word.
just want to lay around and listen to the Grateful Dead and not train.
Yeah.
Oh, you can lift a lot of weight. Blah, 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 patchouli oil. And then hipsters look at this shirt that I bought at the Goodwill. It's so vintage. It's yeah, that's a McDonald's shirt from 1985, dude.
Would Jeff Snyder wear one of those?
Jeff Snyder would rock the hell out of it, but he wouldn't be a hipster because he'd be stretching out with just massive amounts of muscle. We should partial these Jeff Snyder jokes out. Otherwise, people are going to start believing in his existence. And it's kind of like the whole Sasquatch thing, the lure. And two, they're going to think we got a little weird obsession.
Jeff Snyder does exist.
True, he did call me from his fortress of solitude.
Let's get back on the stress subject.
But no, we're running down the topics. Maybe caveating, segueing into recovery. What we do to recover, taking a little time off and programming that in. I think we touched on that before. Programming workouts. I think it would be a good thing to talk about. Huh?
Yeah, that's a big topic.
Do you want to start with that one then?
Programming training.
Well, I mean,
let's talk about stress management.
Okay, stress
I'd rather
management.
Talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about the stressors that we deal with every day as both humans and powerlifters.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. We don't have the luxury of doing this full time.
No.
And if we did have the luxury of doing it full time, it'd be very easy to manage stress.
I heard it pays in wooden nickels.
Yeah, but it would be easy if this was our full time job. But unfortunately, it's not. And I kind of think that with the time that we have to be a little more careful with what we do and what we put into our
most definitely.
training.
I mean, it's a very selfish thing to do because you're doing this weightlifting and taking away time from your loved ones, your wife, your kids.
Yeah,
whatever.
but if you love it, it's not much of a sacrifice.
This is true, but you're putting yourself in a situation where you're taking away possible quality time with other people.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point that out, because although it is a positive thing to do, I mean, I'm a fan of anyone trying to improve their health, get stronger, get faster, get leaner. But, when it comes down to it, spending 2 hours, 4 days a week in the gym, that right there's a stress. You're taking yourself out of your normal life, ability to recover, relax, spend quality time with people. So then your time becomes more precious.
Yeah. Well, it kind of takes me back to college. I started the sport when I was 19 years old. That was when I had my first competition. I was actually powerlifting before I even knew it existed.
Really?
I just didn't have.
You care to elaborate there, freaking?
Well, started
Doc
when I was
Brown.
about 15 years old, and all I would do is go in the gym, and I only wanted to lift heavy. I didn't really want to do anything else. I didn't
Did
want
you
to
just curl heavy?
I didn't curl at all, really.
What
I
was your
just
favorite
benched.
lift back then?
Well, that's kind of funny because what I would do is
Is it funny?
Not really. It's
Okay.
just interesting.
I wanted to chuckle.
So I would go to the gym or the training facility that we had in our town, and I would get on the hammer strength machine. It was a plate. It was like a plate loaded, bench press machine.
with those weird octagonal cookies with the
But it
everyone
was
loves.
plate loaded. Like you actually put 45s on.
Yeah, but they were still those weird rubberized.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't really
Okay.
make a difference.
I'm just trying to paint a picture. Stop cutting me down, dude.
So, anyways, I would go into the gym, and all I would do is essentially all I would want to do is max out. And
Like
I was
every day.
almost. I would go in 3 days a week, and I'd max out every time. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing was bad or good or whatever. So by the time I was about 16, I got up to a 360-pound hammer strength bench press, and I thought I was awesome.
Well, I mean that is actually pretty good for.
It's
a
good for an
16-year-old.
isolation exercise, but then I got quickly humbled when I went to a flat bench because I thought I could bench 300 pounds, and I couldn't hardly bench 185.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So at that moment, I think that was kind of pivotal for me, at least personally, because I thought, hell, I'm strong. I do 360 pounds on the hammer strength machine, and I can't hardly bench 185. So, yep, I'm deciding right now that I'm going to bench press on a regular bench.
You know what I just realized this is?
What's that?
This is your origin story. This
Nah,
is like
I don't want to go over that.
No. This is like your origin story. This is like when the radioactive spider came down and bit Peter Parker on the back of the hand.
Yeah?
Like, you're just like, oh, well, I was a scrawny kid and I did this awesome amount of weight on the hammer strength. I don't know why I'm using that voice, by the way. And this is to emulate you, apparently.
Okay.
And then, oh, I almost got crushed by 185 pounds. Anyway, that's your origin. And then you got like all like serious about it.
Yeah. So that's what I did, and didn't even know powerlifting existed until I went to a Borders bookstore, looked at magazines.
Does it still exist?
No, I have no idea, but went to a Borders bookstore, went to their magazine rack, noticed George Halbert had benched like 683 pounds at 220 or something like that. Or it could have been at 198.
Do you remember what came out of your mouth as you were drinking your probably Frappuccino?
I remember thinking, good God, that's impossible. And then I picked it up, bought it, and I haven't really looked back.
Were you wearing cargo shorts? I in my mind,
I probably was wearing cargo shorts.
with I'm going to go out there, a cotton belt with D-rings.
Wow. You're like a soothsayer? Is that what you are?
No. I got ESP, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly
Except
what it
I can see into the past.
What's a soothsayer?
That's like it's like an oracle. Kind of, sorta.
You're like a red one of those.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm get this book from this magazine from Borders, and I read it religiously, and George Halbert quickly became my hero, and I tried to emulate everything he did. I bought his DVDs. I don't remember if I bought that through the West Side Barbell website or what, but ended up learning a lot. Got into my first competition when I was 19 years old, benched like 375.
Wait, that was at your first competition?
Yeah, and it was raw.
Seriously?
I weighed 213.
I haven't done that in competition yet.
Sorry. But I did, and
I hate you.
Dana Rosenzweig, he's the he'll tell you he's the president and CEO of the Belleville Weightlifting Club. He took notice and actually didn't get really hooked up with him until when I was probably 21 years old after the St. Louis Fitness Festival.
At what point did he start yelling at you?
Oh, day one.
Immediately?
Yeah, day one.
Was his chest still as large?
He first thing he said was, "Who can you depend on?" And I looked at him, I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Me." Like
him or like you?
Him.
Okay.
Like you could depend on him.
Did he also go like, "When does training start?" When I get here?
Yeah. Dana says, when does training start? And Dana says, when I get here. So I hooked up with Dana, and I haven't really looked back since. He took me under his wing and helped me out quite a bit. We're going to try to interview Dana maybe on our next adventure.
He's an interesting man.
Very interesting guy. He's been in the sport for over 30 years.
He was bench pressing in gear when it was like just a tight cotton shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh,
okay, yeah. We had a pause because, like I said, I'm cat sitting, and this cat just like jumped from the floor into a box, and it startled us.
Yeah, it's the box I put all my recording.
Plus, it looks like a very small lion.
Yeah, it's shaved.
Anyway, so we're going to interview Dana.
Yeah, we're going to
just
try
a
to interview
source
him.
of great information, and
Maybe the next time around. He has some really cool ideas.
Like
very cool thoughts.
Like how do you do cardio by throwing ladders after a big freaking bench
you
press?
weren't there when we did it. This was last. Let me think about this. Actually, this was Monday. Dana says we were talking about how you have to have a.
Is this the Dana Says segment?
Sure, we can have one of those every once in a while.
Sweet.
So Dana's in the gym and we're discussing temperament when you approach the bar, how you need to have a very aggressive approach towards the bar, because the bar ain't gonna lift itself. And I come out and said, you can't be meek and mild when you approach that bar. You gotta go with the intention that you're gonna dominate every millimeter of movement. And Dana quickly says, the meek may inherit the earth, but they'll never lift anything heavy
unless they have levers.
No, but think about it.
No, that's a good statement. That's a good statement. But I mean, if they have simple machines.
Sure. But anyway, so we're on this concept of stress management, and it's been, let me check. We're 14 minutes in and we really haven't talked much about stress management.
This is true,
Josh.
but thank you for staying with us. So, okay. Well, we told Brady's origin story, talked about how awesome Dana is, but I mean, we all deal with a certain amount of stresses. I can have a stressful job from time to time. I think I put a lot on myself, and coming into the club, I've already wasted a lot of that recovery and the ability to put up some weights just by working a 8 to 10 to sometimes 12-hour day. So I mean that strips away right there.
Mm-hmm.
So and getting torqued up at work, it's tough sometimes getting in the gym and getting focused. I mean that's another issue is focus, but that's already a stressor.
But I kind of think it's a good thing because if training was perfect every time, and let's be honest, like we said in the last adventure or two event, training conditions are perfect, and when you go in the gym, at least physically, everything's the same. Except for maybe like the temperature or something. In the Belleville Weightlifting Club, we don't really have air conditioning or
we have a
much
heater.
But it's terrible. It's not that great. But our training conditions are relatively
they're standardized.
They're almost standardized. Now, when you have in competitions, you have these things called curveballs, where lots of different variables change comparatively to your training. So it's sometimes a good thing to have a different kind of a day at work.
So it throws like a different stimuli in there.
Yes, it throws a completely different situation in your day that can affect your training for that day.
I can see that.
So I don't want to say I welcome it. I hate it, but I like to think that it actually helps me out, makes me more mentally tough.
It's like a micro test.
Yeah.
For that day, I just had, a not so great day at work and I got to go in there. And so when you have a great lift, you're just like, this rocks.
But when is the last time you've ever had perfect competition conditions? I haven't had one competition where it's been perfect.
In competition?
Yeah, in competition. Like I've lifted really well, but the competition still had its challenges.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the case. The warm-up room's kind of weird and you're like benching on a wonky bench or, there's no one there to help you load and you're burning up energy just throwing on some plates, things like that. No, you're definitely right. I mean, it's never perfect. We don't have like roadies to come out and throw on the weight, put the weight on the bar, to deadlift, squat, bench press, tell us when we gotta get ready for being in the hole and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and we don't know other variables such as like the platform itself might
Mars gravitational pull.
Yeah, Mars might affect the gravitational pull of the bar a little bit. So may the moon. But it's it's one of those things where you gotta take it. You gotta be able to overcome through that adversity.
Yeah, most definitely.
And make the best of it, and try not to get worked up or upset over it. You just kind of accept it and move on. Accept what you got. Yeah, because it's not going to get any better. Just go forward.
And I think we should probably wrap up that type because of stresses. Because there's work stress. There's stress if you have fights with your friends, significant others, so on and so forth. That's all going to take from you. So now you have that, and then you go into the gym. And when you're benching, deadlifting, squatting, and doing your auxiliary workouts, that's going to add a stress to you. Am I wrong?
You mean the physical side?
Yeah, the physical side.
Yeah. And psychologically, I know when I go to the gym, on my way from work to the gym, I'm thinking about essentially what I'm doing is I'm trying to pick myself up from my day. Because regardless of how the day went, I got to get mentally prepared for my training day.
So you crawl into the hole that is Brady Stewart.
So I kind of look within. I kind of look inside.
What type of crap music are you listening to? Some dubstep, Skrillex, and Hollywood Undead.
Josh, you have a unique music set.
This is true, and I'm judgmental.
I mean, I've heard on your little playlists. You're gigantic.
Stop mocking me.
Your gigantic playlists. I've heard like African tribal music.
Dude, you making this up?
I swear
I don't have any of that.
It was. I don't know what it was. I
would have listened to it, but
could have been Amazonian. I don't care. It was tribal, and it had lots of weird like woodland drums in it. I don't even know what that is, but it had it in there. It was terrible. Anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, I try to pick myself up mentally on my way to the club, and I try to tell myself. Repeatedly, I tell myself that today I am going to be strong. Today I'm going to be perfect.
Is that your mantra?
No, I just kind of go over it over and over in my head until I believe it.
Everyone wants to hug me.
No, it's nothing like that. It's just I have to kind of convince myself that today is going to be an awesome day in the gym.
Yeah.
Over and over and over until I actually believe it.
Okay, this I got you, and this is a question that I have, but because I rolled through it, let me go with this. Like, it's for me, it's easier to do on Monday because I'm amped up. I've had the weekend to rest, but say Friday, like today's a Friday. It's hard. Yep. It wears you down to get mentally focused. I mean, I remember today I jumped in the car, I was drinking my pre-workout, and I was blasting some glass jaw, just like trying to get into it. And it's tough.
You almost have to force yourself to get into that mindset.
But are you the same way? Like Monday's easier and Friday's harder, just like because you get
Monday's my big heavy day, but it doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. I have the same mentality every day.
Really?
Yep.
It doesn't. You don't feel worn down at all.
No.
Wow.
Because I convince myself that I am that strong. Yeah. Even if I'm not, your mind is saying one thing and your body might do a completely different thing.
And sometimes it kind of tweaks because you can go in there not feeling well and have an awesome workout.
Yeah. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm not letting my psychological stress infect my physical ability.
Ooh, that was very profound.
Well, it's true. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm tricking my mind into following suit. Because if my body has the ability to do it, my mind is saying, hey, you're weak, you're this, you're that. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, do you have any other tips other than just kind of crawling inside of yourself?
I have a lot of tips. They're just gonna come out in conversation.
Yeah. I'm putting you on the spot and you can't think.
Right.
Wow.
But it's not an easy thing to do, and it's taken years and years of practice.
Yeah.
You just have to find what works for you, and that works for me. Just convincing myself.
So when that coming back to managing stress, so you may be beat up from work, from personal life, things like that, and then you're in the gym. And how do you manage the stress in the gym? Because we were talking about the program that we did, and I recently wrote a template for myself because Brady made me put on my big boy pants and start programming my own stuff. And I had a lot of like heavy stress days in there, and you're like, well, the theme of this should be medium stress throughout.
Pretty much average stress, something that you can recover from without trying.
And for those who don't know, explain that physical stress that we go through in the powerlifting.
Physical stress really is not easily quantifiable. I mean, you can give a pretty good educated guess on what is high, low, and medium.
Well, I mean, it would be different for everyone.
It is different for everyone, but that's the beauty of it. You have to find out what your body can handle. You have to find out what your body, on average, what it can take. And what it takes to recover. High stress workouts, you might be able to recover from them, but they also have a cumulative effect over the course of many weeks. Yeah. So you could go through, you can go through a few low stress weeks, and then if you hit a high one, that high stress has a residual effect for the next, I don't know how much amount of time. It could take weeks to recover.
That's affecting your nervous system. That has to do with work capacity, how much volume you've done. Am I wrong? Or
it does. It's just, there are these things called residual effects that the way that you train now, you may not feel the result right away, but you might feel them residually weeks from now.
Yeah.
And what we try to do when we manage stress is we try to make sure that we feel that residual supercompensation of strength.
Supercompensation.
Yeah. We try to feel that supercompensation of strength the day that we compete.
You know what else is a residual effect?
What's that?
The sting after a gorilla slap.
It does.
Yeah, or an aftertaste after a delicious pizza. Anyway, that was to lighten the mood.
That's for Josh. So, but
I'm not as smart. I'm just trying to keep up.
But when it comes to the stress, I mean, we're talking about low, medium, and high stress. It's not an easy thing to define.
Oh, most definitely. It'd be different for every person because your RPE would be different than my RPE.
Well, it'd be the same. An 8 is an 8.
Well, true, but I mean, the amount of weight when that's
intensity.
Intensity yes.
Is different.
And RPE is rate of perceived exertion. If I do 315, that's going to affect you differently. But you wouldn't hit an RPE of 8 at 315.
No, it'd be like a 6 or a 7. Essentially, but that's different. 315 for Josh is going to be higher stress than it is 315 for me.
Oh, just you're so much better than me.
It's got to be illustrated to people listening.
Oh, so the ginger gets to be the weak. Oh wait, this actually kind of works out, doesn't it? You're the world class bench presser. I'm just the hanger on. I see why I'm here.
But what I'm trying to do is illustrate a point to the listeners. That's why Josh is on the show, is because he's a beginner and he has the beginner perspective and he can relate a little bit better than I could. Because
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
so
up there.
Low stress, and to me it's defined as, and even to most people that deal in rate of perceived exertion and stress management, low stress is essentially low volume, low intensity, or medium intensity, low volume, or low volume and medium intensity. Did I already repeat that?
I was making attention.
Anyways,
honestly.
but the essential, the idea is that your overall stress is remaining low. Medium, it can be like low volume, high intensity, high volume, low intensity, or just medium volume, medium intensity. That's essentially kind of average.
Yeah.
And then high stress would be high and medium volume intensity, or high volume and intensity. And then there's a such thing as what is known as, at least popularized by reactive training systems, concentrated loading.
Okay. You want to go into a little detail about that, which you are.
Yeah, well, concentrated loading is essentially beyond high stress.
Okay.
It's concentrated levels of stress where it's severe. Like it's a severe amount of stress that you're putting in your body, but you do it for reasons.
Okay.
And you don't,
such as,
you wouldn't do it all the time. You would do it probably pretty far out from a competition to help improve. And I'm not going to, concentrated loading can be a pretty dangerous thing.
Okay.
If
We'll
overdo it.
caveat
I want to make sure, I want to exercise some caution with concentrated
check
loading.
with your doctor before you do concentrating loading. Yeah. That way we're covered, dude.
Yeah, right.
So with concentrated loading, if you're doing a 16-week mesocycle, would you do maybe 1 or 2 cycles of concentrated loading, or does it matter?
Maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and I would follow that up
with a deload.
I would probably follow that up with a medium week and a low week of stress.
Well, okay, and I think this is something important to talk about. A low stress and a deload are different things, correct?
Yes, a deload is like below low stress. It's very low stress. I define it as very low stress.
Okay, and we throw those in our mesocycles.
But it's something that you could recover from without even blinking an eye.
Well, I mean, we do that after we test. It's the week before a competition at the BWC. We do a deload, which is kind of nice. You do 3 days. I do 3 days. You do 65% essentially, and it keeps the muscles still firing.
Yeah, and you keep the volume low. You keep the sets and the reps pretty low.
And I think that's important to bring up for anyone that doesn't program in a deload into their mesocycle, especially if we're talking about high levels of stress.
Yeah, but it's hard to get into a lot of detail on how to program stresses out.
Yeah.
There's like I said, there's nothing kind of set in stone that says you have to do it a certain way, but if you're curious on how to program your own training, go to Mike Tuchscherer's website. He is he's the brainchild behind the reactive training system.
Well, why don't you give him the website, because they're not going to know how to spell his name.
It's www.reactivetrainingsystems.com. And Mike's he has his own forum on his website, and he answers just about every question that anybody poses on his site.
He's answered questions directly to you before he even really knew you.
Mike's been essential to my progress, my personal progress in the sport, and I can't thank him enough. He's taken his time. He's been very patient with me, and he's answered hundreds of my questions. And after I read his manual, which he sells on his website, it just opened Pandora's box inside my mind.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think he was the strongest man in the Dakotas?
Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah?
Mike was probably the strongest man on the planet.
Pound for pound?
No, not pound for pound, but I would say in his weight class for sure.
Well, wouldn't that be pound for pound then? There,
no,
Chancho?
not really.
Okay, I'm kind of confused then. Because...
Well, a guy at 150 pounds could lift pound for pound more. Okay. You got to do the math. You suck at math.
I have an abacus. It's got different colors on there, so it keeps track of the tens and the 0.1s and so on and so forth, or the tenths and hundredths, if you will.
Right on.
Yes, pi, not the food, the 3.14 number thing.
So anyways.
Actually, no, this has been a fairly decent conversation because we've hit 2 topics that we said we are going to hit, because you got into a little bit about programmatics, like programming workouts, which I think we should expand upon, and managing stress. And again, if anyone has questions, fire emails. But programmatics, I just built my first template.
Yeah, you actually did a very good job. Josh,
I just ponied off an old one that you gave me.
Well, I've been helping Josh program his training for competitions, and again, I'm just giving him my perspective on what I think he should do. Doesn't mean it's right.
I mean,
but at least it's something structured.
I'm definitely going to listen to a dude that is more seasoned than me, and I have other folks that look at it too. But I mean, Brady's easily accessible for at least me, and he's been a great help. And yes, I'm going to say thank you right now. So it's on record,
dude. Hey, don't worry about it. I enjoy helping you, but after you get about 10 competitions under your belt, you should start, people in general should start thinking about, programming their own training, because you have to start somewhere. Yeah. Even if it's terrible, even if you get to your next competition, it sucks. Yeah. At least you've learned from it. You've kind of felt what worked and what didn't. Yeah. And just because it didn't work doesn't mean you give up on that concept. You just kind of put it on the shelf because it might work later.
Well, I mean, just that being said, I know there's no magic bullet. I know as you keep repeating over and over and over again, I feel like I got tattooed verbally with "there's nothing set in stone." I remember coming to the BWC and you kind of helped me out, and then you give me a 4-day template. I've done 4-day templates. I've done 3-day templates. I don't know too many people who do a 5-day template.
I don't really either, other than like weightlifters, but. You probably could. I've tried 6-day bench pressing templates.
Did that make you feel horrible?
I could sustain it. I sustained my strength. It didn't really go anywhere.
But did you make any gains?
It just kind of was a straight line. Like my strength didn't really go up or go down. So
that's actually not exciting.
It's not bad. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous by any means. But you never know.
I don't think anything we do is glamorous,
right?
Except for the fake fashion shows that we do in our singlets.
You do those, sir.
Well,
Josh's form of a fashion show is when the competition's over. He's going and he's getting his medal, and then he proceeds to do cartwheels to the medal stand.
Don't be jealous of my cartwheels,
because I can't do one.
We'll teach you. We'll
start
with somersaults.
What is a somersault?
It's the one where you kind of roll on the ground.
I could do that.
Like, I'm not talking about roll like a pig in its own filth. I'm talking about like when you kind of tuck your head over and your butt comes over and then you like pop up and you're like, ta-da!
No, man.
How do you not know what a somersault is? What about dive rollout? When you dive into a somersault?
Did you have gymnastics in school?
No, but I had to take aquatic survival.
What does that have to do?
No, actually, wait. One was self-defense and one was aquatic survival.
Was it like Krav Maga or something? Like you're like punching dudes in the groin? The mommy and daddy button?
Dude, you're making me cough.
Why? Because you're fat?
That's why I'm breathing heavily.
Okay.
My under boob sweating. Anyway, yeah, I took a self-defense course because it was like a mandated PE class, and then I did aquatic survival where you had to tread water for like 15 minutes.
And did you almost die?
No, because if you don't pass, you get kicked out of school. Well, essentially, I had to like ride a inflatable raft. Those hydrostatic rafts that are on the back of vessels. So when they go down,
I think I know what those are.
Well, basically, it's like it's a packed up inflatable raft. So if God forbid, the vessel goes down at a certain depth, there's a pressure, and then it releases the hydrostatic pressure block, and then it goes up and it inflates with CO2. And sometimes they go upside down, so they got the straps, and you got to climb on top of the raft, and then throw your body backwards, and then swim under, kind of like True Lies when the fire was shooting, and then climb into the raft. It's actually a pain in the butt.
You're a trained individual. Could you do that now?
I'm going to have to do it pretty soon. I have to re-up my merchant mariner status.
Visit www.osagecountyguns.com. Stocking over 1,500 firearms and carrying a wide variety of ammunition, silencers, suppressors, optics, and firearm accessories.
Next, well, I mean, we're talking about templates. I mean, basically, you did a 5-day, you did a 6-day.
Well, I believe that if you don't try something for yourself,
yeah.
I mean, you have to discover it for yourself, and that's I'm gonna write an article on discovery. But you have to discover for yourself what it takes for you to get stronger.
Yeah, and I got you.
And you kind of have to test it out, because you never know. When I told people the first time I benched 672, it was like 305 kilos. I was benching 4 days a week, every week.
Yeah,
and,
You
and
gave
a lot
me
of people would
like
look at me and they'd say, "How in the hell do you bench 4 days a week?" And I said, "You know what? I thought it was crazy too until I tried it."
Yeah.
And I am so thankful that I benched 4 days a week.
Yeah.
It just felt like
but you were only shirted one day, right?
Right. I was only in the bench
because I remember when I first got in a shirt, I was benching 2 days a week in a shirt. Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, like I was so fried.
Yeah.
And then I told you, you're like, why are you benching in 2 days a week in a shirt?
You probably could do that, but you'd have to have like the one day you'd have to have an extremely tight shirt, and then the other day you'd probably have to have a really, really extremely loose shirt.
You'd have to have the recovery of Jeff Snyder.
Jeff's freaking Snyder, whom, by the way, slapped a lion so hard.
How hard did it snap?
It successfully mated with a gazelle.
What was it called?
A Snyder.
Is that where the name comes from?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Brandon Snyder.
Oh, Man Dime. Roger.
The Man Dime Brandon Snyder. I wish I could just be a nickel man, like a nickel.
For those that you don't know, if women are 10 and they're on a scale of 0 to 10, men or dimes or nickels or pennies. So I would say I'm a hay penny. A half.
I try to dress like a nickel.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah. I gotta try to look. I gotta look the part.
Is that why you're wearing those fancy new shoes and just a CM Punk shirt?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the CM Punk's it's like a penny. It's like a penny shirt.
Dude, I hope he doesn't hear that. He'll give you a GTS.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, I think we need to come back to this, but I think we need to move on to another segment to just for my own edification.
Yeah, and before we go on,
sure.
I just want to say this: there is no amount of time that we can sufficiently discuss programming on a radio show.
There's enough time. We just annoy the hell out of everyone.
It's just it's something that you really have to take a lot of time and thinking about. I don't like using the terms trial and error, but it takes a lot of finding out what it takes for you to get stronger over time, and you have to just take it on for yourself and discover for yourself what it takes for you to get stronger.
Well, I definitely want to put a pin in this, but I want to get to would you eat it?
Okay, well then, let's get on to the segment of would I eat it?
Well,
would you eat it?
Okay, well, I'm pulling it up right now. Sorry, soused herring.
Herring. Wait. Go for it.
Soused herring is a herring soaked in a mild preservative liquid. It can be raw herring in a mild vinegar pickle or famous Dutch brine herring, as well as a vinegar. The marinade might contain cider, wine, or tea, sugar, herbs, usually bay leaf, spice, usually mace. I didn't know mace was a spice.
Mace?
Yeah, like to spray in someone's face.
It's gross.
Yeah, before pepper spray type of stuff. And chopped onions, served on a sandwich.
Well,
right there's the picture.
The non-maced version, I would probably eat it. And I'm gonna say this because I actually eat pickled herring.
Really? Where did you get pickled herring?
They have like the snacks you get at the store. You can get them at the store. They're in a little can.
Gross.
Yeah, I eat them as a snack. It's good protein.
Okay, I'm a worldly man,
yes,
and
you are.
I've eaten many things. Do you think I would eat that?
You're a sailor, so I gotta say yes.
I've tried it.
Oh, well, you did eat it then.
Yeah, dude. No. Okay.
Okay.
Remember, the thing about this is you can't just try it. You have to eat the whole freaking thing. So when I was living in the Netherlands, there was the Block Market, Blaak, not black, Block. And it was very close to my house. So I'd go down there and I was hanging out with some friends. I'm like, okay, I've never tried this pickle herring thing. And so we decided to buy a sandwich. When I bit into it, it was like fish jello. It was disgusting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like
I would eat it.
I started kind of heaving.
Really? And you like sushi, right?
I love sushi, but
it was bad.
The consistency was fish jello. It was just quivery in the mouth, kind of like, just a lung nugget.
God, that reminds me of a time I went on what was called a party boat. It's not a party boat where you go and get drunk. It's a party boat where you go out and fish with like hundreds of other people on a giant boat.
So it was.
Have you heard of that?
Why don't they just call it giant fishing?
But you just have a people that just line the rim of the boat.
You have a people?
Yeah, you have a people.
Like the blob.
Just a group of people, Josh, that line the boat.
So there's several individuals.
Several people, hundreds of people.
With different skeletal systems.
And all they do is drop their line in the water, and what you put on your hook.
Power bait?
Kind of.
Marshmallows?
No, you don't put marshmallows. You want alligators coming. I don't think they can swim to those depths.
What, was Burt Reynolds by you? Was he rubbing his
No,
mustache?
but I had my dad and my granddad there.
Big Pop, right?
Big Dad.
Oh, Big Dad. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Big Dad.
Whom himself is just, he's an alligator hunter himself.
Do you think he's punched an alligator in the snout?
No, he knows better. He's cutting an alligator's head off, though, of a dead one. Anyways, so we're dropping these lines off the boat, and we're using squid.
Like calamari? Like fried?
It's just squid.
Did you take a bite?
Josh, listen to this. These guys come out with these giant blocks of ice, and I'm looking at these blocks of ice, and they're discolored. Like they look grody.
Does it look like a dead tooth?
It looks
color?
like, imagine just like Pepto-Bismol and like just swamp water mixed in these giant cubes of ice.
Like a grog.
And all of a sudden we're going out to the middle of the ocean, and these blocks of ice are thawing out, and these blocks of ice are actually blocks of squid.
You got really serious with these blocks of squid, and his eyes look like fire.
I don't get seasick, but I got seasick because of the smell of those squid. It was disgusting. It was gross. But anyways, we go out there and we fish. We caught some red snapper. It was awesome.
Was the red snapper delicious?
Yeah, it was very
good. Wait. This party boat, which sounded like you were going to be complaining about this, turned out to be fun.
It was fun until they brought those blocks out.
So I've been on several ships in my life. Usually it's work-related type of stuff. But on the passenger ships I've been on, they have something delicious.
What is it?
Churros.
Churros?
The Mexican donut.
Really? I love churros.
Dude, they had churros on there? I could go for a churro right now.
I could too.
Yeah. You know what would help wash that churro down?
Some brewskis.
Yeah, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, today we are, well, it's the same day that we recorded
We're
Adventure
not
number 2.
alcoholics.
It's a Lion Imperial Premium Malt Pilsner.
You know where
it's
this
imported.
is from?
Where's it from?
Guess where it's from. It's not from the United States. Don't read it.
Where's it from?
Guess. Just take a guess.
Lithuania.
Think other side of the world.
I don't. What?
Sri Lanka.
Wow.
We're drinking Sri Lankan beer.
It's 8.8% alcohol by volume.
It's pretty freaking tasty.
We went from an Imperial Stout to this, and this is awesome. This tastes really good.
Dude.
It's you could taste the quality. It's delicious.
They have a stout that we'll bring on one time, and from a can, it's delicious. I fed you one, remember? It was like for SummerSlam.
Yeah, actually, I do remember that. But this is the bottled version, and it's delicious.
So we're getting all worldly. Let's see. We've had a beer from New York, a beer from Michigan, and now a beer from Sri Lanka.
I love it.
Dude,
I like it.
I'm just so happy with what's going on with beverages in this world.
It's awesome.
You know what's also good to drink?
What's that?
Shirley Temple or Aurora Rogers.
Yeah. You like that?
Do you not drink?
Not really.
You don't like sweet, cherry syrup.
I don't really.
Soda?
You know, the sweetest beverage libation,
yes.
if I may, that I will have is a margarita.
That's sweetest
to me. Yeah.
What about a milkshake?
Well, we're talking about alcoholic beverages.
Okay,
right?
just beverages.
We're not talking about a chocolate bourbon milkshake like we had at the Bailey's Range.
It wasn't chocolate bourbon. It was caramel sea salt ice cream with bourbon and candied bacon.
God, you sound so judgmental.
Dude, how long have you known me? For like 4 years. Yeah. I'm judgmental as hell.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but okay, Swedish in Flames reference again. Sweetest drink. It could be booze. It could be non-booze. Really? No, I'm serious. What is the sweetest drink you've had?
Actually, okay. I had a drink in Brazil, and it was in Rio de Janeiro, and they had pure cane sugar, a beverage, and it had.
Was it alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
It was non-alcoholic, and it was like a combination of water, pure cane sugar, and like it was lemons and limes.
Yeah,
and they
So it was like it was Sprite on crack.
It was chock full of sugar,
like chock full of nuts, but sugar.
Right. It was a drink, dude. It was pretty tasty. It was just different. Really? It was different, but that was the I was. Talk about sweet. That was sweet.
I'll tell you the sweetest thing I've ever had in my life. I was in Singapore, and they have like really big food markets. They love to eat there. It's actually quite phenomenal, and they have like malls that are just food places. And me and my buddy Brad, the runner, we walked up and we saw this sour plum drink. I'm like, okay, I'll get the tea, you get the sour plum drink, and blah, blah, blah. So I see Brad take this little plastic cup, which in a lot of Asian countries, they give you like drink in a bag. Like it's like a plastic bag with a straw in it. But so I was surprised that it was in a cup. And he took a swig on it. And like I could see his eye twitch and just like his face kind of crawl. I was like, what the hell? He's like, dude, you got to try this. I'm like, and he wouldn't say what it was. So I took a swig of it. The sweetest thing I've ever had in my life. Like my veins started to hurt. The back of my molars hurt. Like, it was so sweet. Like, we cut in 44 ounces of water, and it was still sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard to shut that mouth up.
Dude, I thought the Mexican sodas are sweet. Like, this made Mexican sodas, like, taste like sour vinegar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty damn sweet.
Okay, so it looks like you're pulling up some things on the intranets.
Yeah, we've talked about some topics Josh wanted to kind of go over. Do you have any other questions about those, by the way?
I think this is something we should touch again as other people do, because again, I think there's nothing set in stone. Again, your mantra. But there's some good rules of thumb. Like if you're working out 4 days a week, you're going to do an upper body, lower body, lower body, right?
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, again, it's going to be different for everyone, but that's a good for people starting out template. If you're going to do it 3 days a week, it's upper body and lower body for all three.
Yep. Total body training.
Doing slots.
Well, that kind of gives me something that listeners probably need to know is, when you train 4 days a week, like Josh is saying, most of the time people train lower body on one day, upper body the next.
I mean, I do that. I deadlifted today because I benched yesterday.
And then others, they train 3 days a week and they train total body each day. So they'll do a squat and a bench or a bench and a deadlift each day.
Or the tread climber.
Yeah. So what I think is good about the 3 day a week training is that in competitions, you're essentially doing a total body competition. You're not just benching. People need to realize that when you squat before you bench, it affects your bench press. And
Amen.
When you bench before your deadlift, your squat and your bench press affect your deadlift. So it's very sport specific, and I think it's actually a pretty good thing. And I recommend that when you get within the past couple weeks of a competition, you practice some of that total body
that's
training.
in the full power. That's full power.
For full power.
I mean, that's how we test though.
Yeah, you and it should be in that order too. You squat before you bench before you deadlift. With few programming exceptions.
Yeah, and then you go out and gorge yourself on pizza afterwards.
If your name is Josh Hunt, you definitely engorge yourself on pizza and barbecue and maybe some milkshakes.
I like frozen custard.
Do you remember that time we went to that Steak and Shake? I don't even remember if that was after a competition.
It was after the Ozarks.
Yeah,
this time last year.
And I think all of us from the Belleville Weightlifting Club had at least 2 milkshakes.
Yes. I had a chocolate milkshake, then I had a Butterfinger, and I had a.
Wait! You had a milkshake, and then you ate a Butterfinger candy bar.
No, the Butterfinger milkshake.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Steak and Shake, and then I had a hot dog, and some cheese fries, and a hamburger. The hot dog was kind of salty though.
Yeah, would it be Gary Rucks approved?
Oh, dude, it's a hot dog, right?
Right. Well, it's approved.
It's Gary Rucks approved. Gary's a gentleman that I work with who's quite phenomenal.
Very cool guy. He should be doing this sport.
He enjoys hot dogs very prolifically.
Yeah. But, I think you guys get the point, and when it comes to the food like that, the binge eating or binge drinking, whatever you want to call it, sweet beverage. Yeah, just binging. You don't do that during training. You don't do that.
You should have, at all. I'm not a great example because I'm a chubby kid.
Never binge drink. Alcohol. Never do that.
Having a cheat day once a week, or at least 3 cheat meals, it keeps you kind of sane.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to monitor that yourself and see what works for you. But,
agreed.
So,
I think that answers most of the questions that we have, and we may touch back on these.
For the very best in powerlifting equipment, visit Titan Support Systems at www.titansupport.com. On to our next topic. It's a topic of conversation that I want to kind of go over from an article that I wrote, and it's really not much of an article. It's just
you self-serving son of a.
It's not really self-serving. If people don't read it, then I would rather them hear it.
Okay, you're going to force this upon them.
I'm just going to force
like a
it down your
conquistador.
Exactly.
I butchered that. So when I hear that later, I'm going to be kicking.
The title of this article is called "Get Brutal." Okay, and I
you sound like Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah, get brutal, forget about it. But anyways, it's just a list of thoughts that I had when I had my month
musings,
off.
if you will, correct?
Yeah, musings. So, and I've touched up on this on, during Adventures 1 and 2.
That sounds like a song. Touched up on it. Touched up on it.
We're going to edit that out. Anyways, probably not. But anyways, number 1, there's only 7 of these, and these are just a few of the thoughts I had.
Wait, can you put on a beard and pretend you're Moses?
I have a beard.
No, I'm like a legit beard and like pretend like you're coming down. Like,
is this beard wrong to you?
My beard was longer than yours.
God.
But no, like the 10 Commandments when Charleston Heston comes down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments, and you could have like the 7 get brutal thingies.
Sure.
Continue the joke.
The article. Anyways, it's number 1. And Josh has declared that this is my mantra. Nothing is set in stone about training. And you got to do what you need to do to get stronger, even if that goes against popular and common knowledge. Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's right. And
like the Dave Matthews Band.
You have a hard time staying on topic, don't you?
Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's right. Continue.
Okay. Take control of your training. Okay. And if you want to be average, you do what is popular and do what is common. You do what everyone else is doing. So it's okay for people to hit the staples of popular training, and I'm not going to declare those now, but they're pretty well known.
No. Yeah. I mean, we've all been dealing with those. Anytime you've lifted a weight, you have some dude walk up to you and tell you, like, you need to do this and this, and you need to do pyramid up and pyramid down.
And I don't care how strong they are. Doesn't mean they're right. It does not mean they're right.
It could mean it's right for them, though.
It could mean it's right for them, but it doesn't mean it's right for you.
This is true.
And if you want to be extraordinary, you got to pave your own way. You got to make it happen for yourself. Nobody's going to hold your hand to the podium and get your medal. Nobody's going to write it out for you and connect the dots, for you to get a gold medal or a bronze medal at, a big competition. So you got to figure it out for yourself. And your decisions directly design who and what you are and will become.
Ooh, say that again. Yeah. That was
your decisions.
Sparkling.
Your decisions directly design who and what you are and will become. And don't make the fatal training mistake of falling for any one school of thought, because nothing's perfect. Even me, and when I have gotten into the towards world class lifting, I've had to kind of come into my own and realize that I gotta start training the way I need to train. I can't have it templated out for me. I can't have it written out. It's something that I have to almost instinctually do.
Well, I mean, it can't be like OCD where like, well, it says this, but I need to do what it says. You could be feeling better. You could be feeling worse. You need to be able to like on the fly change. Yeah.
And that's a sign of maturity when it comes to training too. Cause
let's face it though. Neither one of us are very mature.
That's true. Cause sometimes ego gets in the way and you want to think, well, hell, I am strong enough. I am strong enough today. I'm going to do it because I have it written down. And sometimes you got to look at you got to think about it and say, well, I'm really not that strong today. I'm going to have to tone it back a little bit.
Yeah. And then pray to Wookiees that you can get it.
Yeah. Pray to Wookiees. So the next attribute that I think people need to, bridge out on is this. That no matter how you feel, this is the mindset that you need to have. You need to become so confident that failure ceases to exist. Never let one negative thought or fear enter your psyche. You have to have this force of will that pushes the limits of your strength potential. And your potential is higher than you can imagine. Your potential is far higher than where you're at now. And I think that's something that Josh is coming to realize now in his training, because he's trying to get from that. He's a tweener. He's between beginner and intermediate.
Like Ken Shamrock during the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
you didn't know which way I was going to go.
Yeah.
So like I might lift well, I might lift crappy.
Sure, but Josh is trying to discover, or is attempting to discover that will.
Ah, yes.
You gotta. he's getting more confident in his ability to lift.
And most definitely. I think this is a sport too where it takes a while to come into your own, and you can't just jump in and just be brutally strong. Usually, I mean, unless you're a freak. So it takes a little bit of time to wrap your head around programmatics, training, education, just talking to people and understand what's going on and figuring out what works for you. I know I have a weak lockout. I'm strong off the bottom on my bench press. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, and it's good because when he has these little discoveries, he becomes more confident. Do you not?
I definitely am.
And then when you get more confident, you're less apt to fail.
This is true.
So next point is that you want to lift with some bad intentions. You got to put some brutality into your training. Yeah. You can't approach the bar meek because the meek, they may inherit the earth, but they won't lift anything heavy.
Would you say you want to wear a Bad Boys Club shirt up to the bench press?
You wear whatever the shirt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. Does Jeff Snyder care what kind of T-shirt he's wearing, Josh?
He wears the not the Iron Man, but the War Machine shirt every time I see him.
He does. Yeah.
So I think he does care.
So you got to stop approaching the bar with a meek and gentle temperament. If that bar
basically be pissed.
If that bar, well, not necessarily.
Focused.
You got to be focused and aggressive. It's a focused aggression.
Assertive.
So if the bar had a soul, you'd crush the crap out of it.
Wow.
That's how hard you got to squeeze.
That's pretty dark.
But hey, you got to do what it takes. Whatever it takes. It takes all you got to achieve what you want. It takes everything in your being.
Yeah.
To move that weight. Every millimeter, that bar's fighting against you.
So if the weight asks if you're a god, you say yes.
You say yes,
and then you high five Winston Zedmore.
Exactly. You're not going to let the bar beat you, and that's a very important one.
No, most definitely. I mean, it's really easy to get intimidated. I mean, it's just a number, as you say.
And I don't care if it's a max. I don't care if it's 65% of your max. You're going to move it perfectly every single time. So this is one you're going to want to pay attention to. This is the next one.
I'm paying attention currently.
You will have much more faith in your training when you discover for yourself the philosophies that make you stronger. And I think Josh, this is one that's going to hit home for him because he recently put together his own training program.
Yeah.
And he's going to discover the intricacies that are his training program. He's going to discover for himself what is working and what isn't working in that program.
My little idiosyncrasies that make me the lifter that I am.
Yeah. And a lot of it is about, self-actualization. I mean, you got to realize it for yourself.
Oh yeah, because you could tell me till you're blue in the face, and until I go out for trial and error, I'm never gonna. It's just learning everything else. Like somebody could tell you, and we've all been there. Well, I remember my parents, telling me, well, when you get older, time's going to fly. And it's like, no, a week feels like forever. Yeah. And then now I'm looking at, it's the 18th of January, time snapping off. I'm trying to train for the freaking Ozarks coming up in March. And that's not a lot of time.
Yeah. But in realizing what it takes to get you stronger.
Yeah.
To achieve the results that you want is probably the most important attribute that world-class athletes they realize at a very early time in their careers in the sport. So and again, it takes everything you got to achieve what you want. To accomplish something that hasn't yet happened, you have to be willing to do things you've never done.
Profound.
But but think about it. To accomplish something that hasn't yet happened, you have to be willing to do things you've never done. That's true. I mean, it's so simple, and people don't think about it. But
think about any
works.
Explorer that's trying to find the new world. I mean,
the place has already existed before they got there, but they discovered it for themselves.
What's the word for that? Cryptonics?
I don't know.
Where you map out the world? I think it's cryptonics.
Maybe.
Something similar to that. We'll look it up. We'll get the Fox fact checkers on that.
Yeah, but in number 7, this is the last one I'm going to go over.
Okay.
It takes much more than just perfect training to become great. It takes an attitude and positivity. You have to believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and never let anyone put a limitation on you. The one thing that makes me so pissed off more than anything is when somebody says what my limits are. It's something that just pisses me off.
I think you can only eat 50 chicken McNuggets.
Yeah, well then I'd eat 51 at least.
The calorie challenge?
I don't do those. I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? Come on, man.
Pride, a free meal.
Is it going to make my bench go up?
It might.
Yeah, if I'm in the super heavyweight weight class.
You know the easiest way to get your bench higher? Eat more.
That's true. Yeah. And if you're new to the sport, you definitely don't want to worry about your body weight so much. Your first competition, you shouldn't have to worry about cutting weight.
No,
just
lift what you can.
When you're more closer towards an intermediate, lifter, class 2, class 1, then worry about your body weight. Worry about, cutting weight and things. So.
Oh, I think it's about that time to wrap it up and finish this beer and send you back to deeper Metro East.
Yep. So stay tuned for the next adventure.
Still getting it right. You're so much better.
We'll make sure that the next one's formatted a little bit more. And, this past one here, we may have gone off topic a little bit, but hope you guys were able to take some things from it.
Yes, agreed. I have nothing else to say.
Neither do I.
Represent.